This is going to be Tyler Weathersby, who went missing September 4th of 2024 from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I didn't think this reading was going to be as layered as it appears to be. I did see this case first last year when it happened, but I didn't know it was as layered as I'm finding it out to be. So Tyler Weathersby was married to somebody named Mona Lisa Perez, who was known as a YouTuber who accidentally murdered her husband. She shot and killed him live, or they ruled it an accident on her behalf. She later went on to have a relationship with Tyler, in which they started a clothing brand in 2018. And then they went on to have children together. So Tyler went missing when he left the house without his keys, wallet, or anything. After it was reported that he was acting strange. So I did cards on this one, and then the impressions came through. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay. So the first card is juveniles were involved. Okay. Juveniles involved. Victim of a serial killer. Now, the serial killer thing doesn't have to actually be a serial killer, but just somebody who's either done this before, or somebody that just has a taste for it. Doesn't have to be a traditional serial killer type of, situation. And I could probably just make another card to, help the spirits better express that. Okay. He says, I'm brokenhearted, and I'm under the impression that he's no longer here. I think he was here for a time, or he was used to serve a purpose. He says, I walked into a trap. I was tricked. And the other one is, I fell to my death. That could be also, I fell into a trap. Says he was likely buried or placed in a landfill. Welcome to those who are just joining. I'm talking about Tyler Weathersby, who went missing from South Dakota back in 2024. It says the motive was money problems, seeking financial stability. So maybe somebody, had some sort of well, it indicates that he was sold. So, but it could also be that somebody had some sort of, policy out for him as well. He indicates his brother. I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, but the brother started a GoFundMe, and the brother has been at the forefront of making sure that the case is being investigated. He says he doesn't remember if he noticed anything about those, because I believe that the person that was closest to him set this up. There was an indication that there was an infidelity, like maybe he had cheated on his wife, Mona Lisa, and it feels like he can't really make out whether or not he was able to determine if there was anything sketchy going on with her just before he disappeared. So I believe that that's the response to that question when I asked him that. And then I got the no card, and that was in regards to whether this just being random or a race-based offense or something, because this is South Dakota. There's not like a lot of people of color there, or at least, Black Americans there. It says, I was given away or sold by parents or a loved one. And I believe that this is in regards to his wife, allegedly. I'll use that term, allegedly. I believe that she, again, I was sold, or I was sold out to somebody, have a history of drug abuse or alcoholism. I'm being used or forced to work as a slave or slavery. So this could be like, oddly, he could be used as a sex slave. You know, there is such a thing. I've done a couple of cases where the victims, I saw them being kept somewhere and being used. These are males, you know, in some form of sex slavery. So I'm not going to question that. And then we have desire, lust, and attraction. That could go with that card that just popped out. The victim of medical malpractice. This could be he ended up in the hands ultimately of somebody that took his organs or did something, or maybe, you know, he's being used, you know, for chemical uses for his blood or something like that. I've done cases like that where this sort of thing came out. So nothing is ridiculous when it comes to, you know, the potential of what happens to these people when they go missing. A male was involved. Definitely yes. I was living a double life. Yeah, because he said he cheated on his girlfriend. Well, who would be really his wife. So, and who leaves their house without their phone or their wallet? The brother even said, well, I could see him leaving without his wallet, but not his phone. I think this is his wife. I think his wife was into something. I was recruited by an agency. That agency could be a gang. It could be anything. She could have signed on to some sort of like, allegedly, to some sort of, you know, group, some type of group or something. And we can dig into that a lot deeper later on. White Caucasian. His wife, Annalisa Perez, she, you know, it sounds like she's Hispanic, but she appears to be a white Hispanic, if you will. Secretly met with someone. I believe this is what happened when he left the house. And I mean, I just find it really fishy when people leave the house without something that can track them digitally, and they're meeting somebody and they know they're meeting somebody. You know, why would you leave the house without it? I just don't get it. It's like leaving the house without your keys. And there's been many cases that I've heard, like little blips of cases where they'll say, well, you know, the person left the house, but they left their cell phone at home. So what are these people being told to where they would think it's okay to leave their cell phone at home or their wallet? I mean, I'm really interested in the wordplay and what people are being told. You know, I don't know. I can get into that, but that's going to draw us out a little bit. So I'll do that another time. I was set up by someone I trusted. And again, I believe this was his partner, his spouse, allegedly. Abducted during a traffic stop. So he was out walking, and I believe he was picked up. I believe he met somebody, he got in somebody's car, and he was set up, and they took him somewhere, and, you know, he was never seen again. So he was out walking. He was seen on camera talking to a person on a bike and in a car, and that's all the police will give up. But I believe that he went out and met somebody and left his phone at home because either he was told something that incentivized that, or I don't know. Because even if you leave your phone at home, you could always, you know, silence it or leave it off or something. But why would you leave it at home? Like, what are these people being told to leave your phone out? That's crazy to me. I just, you know, my death was planned. So, yeah, his death was planned. And I believe he's transitioned because I got this card as well. I'm alive in an alternate dimension or alternative world reality. And, you know, this is an interesting card because some people will be like, oh, okay, just say that they're dead. Well, technically, maybe they're not dead. You know, and that's another explanation too. Like, you have the natural progression of death, you have the natural transition of death, and then you have people that transition and don't know that they've transitioned. So mentally, they're in a dimension in which they're still alive, or they think they're still alive, and they're still physical, and the world that they see themselves in is physical. Then you have people that walk, like in these national forests, that walk through portals and they're in other physical realms, but they can still connect mentally or spiritually with people in other dimensions. So just because you're in another dimension, it doesn't mean you're deceased, or it doesn't mean that you transitioned in the natural sense of experiencing the death reality or death experience. So that's what I have for Tyler. I think sometime in the future, I'm going to dig into this. I'm kind of pressed for time because my battery's getting low. So at some point, we can dig into this again. But, I just let the cards do what they do. And we'll see. So leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you like what you've seen. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care.